After viewing a selection of short films, it is clear to see that there is a great variety in how narratives are portrayed, yet they all follow a similar structure. This structure is similar to those in works of novelists and playwrights. The structure consists of 5 parts, including the setup, or exposition, rising action, climax, or that main turning point in a story, the falling action, and then a denouement, or the resolution of the narrative. Understanding the construction of a narrative can be so important for identifying the importance of characters, understanding plot, and recognizing what portions of that story might serve a greater significance. Alongside the structure of a narrative is how that narrative has been displayed in the given amount of time for the film. There are a variety of ways filmmakers use this time to add a second layer to their narrative. The duration relationships to the plot come in a variety of types that include summary relationships, where the plot time is greater than the screen time, real time, where the screen and the plot duration are equivalent, and then a stretch relationship, where the screen duration is longer than that of the plot duration. In the short film Passengers, which came out in 2002, real time is utilized by the director Joseph T. Walker. Walker, who had directed another short film, Old Timers, nearly a decade earlier, makes his first attempt with the use of real time in Passengers. Passengers has minimal dialogue, which emphasizes the beauty of using real time. With the real-time duration, the audience is able to see every facial expression and action made by the actors, which pushes the plot along sans dialogue. The same effect would not occur if a summary relationship was implemented. In 2000, Roger Ebert critiqued a film called Timecode that also used the technique of real time. He spoke about how the story was almost upstaged by the method. He goes on to discuss the balance that has to occur in order to properly execute a real-time film properly. However, on the flip side, there is stretch relationship of duration, and this technique of narrating allows for specific events to be highlighted. In the short film The Hill, which came out in 2004, audiences are treated not only to a stretch relationship, but also to dual narrative. The audience observes an event from 2 characters' viewpoints. Deborah Chow, who directed the short film, tells the story of Jack and Jill with a more ominous adult twist on the children's classic. Deborah Chow is a Canadian filmmaker who started off winning international film festivals with her short films The Hill and Day Pass. She then went on to directing episodes of television shows such as Mr. Robot, Rain, and the TV version of Beauty and the Beast. In an interview in 2011, Chow expressed how both her short films have always been fantasy-oriented, and that this allowed her to work in different directions from your run-of-the-mill narrative story. She chose a strong concept for her short film, and wanted that technique to mirror it. The dual narrative that Chow uses in The Hill allows viewers to dive into this idea that men and women can perceive a situation through very different lenses. The dialogue when used during the exposition is incredibly neutral, and the audience has yet to understand what event the characters are referring to. However, as the characters tell their story, the dialogue moves with the rise and the fall of action. The stretch relationship of duration allows for the audience to understand the importance of the events that occurred on the hill, and why the characters of Jack and Jill are respectively confused and traumatized. Passengers and The Hill both display the importance of duration in narrating a story. The duration relationships allow the director to place emphasis on events without explicitly telling the audience, keeping that beauty of the narrative intact.